Okay, so now in this video, what I would like to do is talk a little bit about the character bar, which would be customizing your type, and also adding effects to type as well. So from the previous tutorial, I went over um, moving, highlighting, creating type, changing your font style, point size, color, warping, etc. So in this video, I want to talk about your character bar, which is right here, this little folder. So if you click on it, it will open up, and this will just allow you to further customize any of your type. Um, so what I'm going to do is highlight, let's say this one here, right? And I'm going to kind of play around with some of the options that you have here. So some of the options you have here are the same that you have above, but there's more options here than you have up top here. So this would be your point size. That changes the size of your font, right? Your font style you could change here as well. You can make your font bold. You can italicize it. So there are a lot of different options for you to play around with. All right. You can change the color here as well if you would like to. But what I also wanted to show you was leading and kerning. So this would be adjusting, taking one more step to adjust the space around your text. So first we're going to look at, it says tracking, but it's really kerning. Would be the space between your each letter form, right? So right now I have so much space. It's an equal amount of space between each letter form, but you can also change that. You can expand the gap between them, right? You can make it smaller and adjust it and tighter. And that space really changes the look of the font as well. But it also, allows you to play around with placement of that type and making it work well in the picture. So this is a great tool to use. The other tool I wanted to go over with you was the leading, okay, which would be this one here. Now this space spaces out your text left to right, right? But the leading space, setting your leading will space the text out from top to bottom. So this would be more for like a paragraph type format. So I would have to create some sort of a paragraph of information. So what I want you to do is just create a text box. Now, if you don't know how to create a text box, as we've been doing is just clicking and creating a cursor and writing out information. But you can just click and hold down, create like a square, and it will create like a text box that will contain your information. So I'm just going to go ahead and just make up a bunch of gibberish here just to kind of show you could write out something if you wanted to. And right now it's spaced out a certain way, but if I wanted to create more, it's very tight actually. If I wanted to create more space between it, I could play around with my kerning, right? I could make it further apart, and I could also change the spacing from one line to the next. So the higher the point size, the more space or gaps between, and the smaller the point size, the less. And you can see it kind of contains it within this text box. What you can also do is under paragraph, you have different ways that you can align it, right? So I can center it, left align. this would be like justify, meaning that both on the left and the right side of your text box, it's all aligned. I actually like using this type of format. I think it looks nice and clean and neat, because when you write paragraphs, and we'll learn later on, is that it almost takes on on its own shape, and it's a lot easier for someone to read when the shape is clean and not like random. So I did want to show you that. So what I would like you to do is just kind of add something like this and play around with your kerning and your leading. And then what I also would like you to do is just kind of be aware that you can add effects to text as well. So I would like you to add an effect to each of these. So for instance, under the first Leigh-Ann, if I went to layer style, I could add drop shadows underneath my text. It's a god-awful drop shadow. Ugh, that looks awful. I'm going to bring it in a little bit more. There we go. All right. I could add patterns to my text. So let's say I wanted to add a pattern to the yellow Leigh-Ann. I could do like a pattern overlay. I could add a gradient to my text, right? So you can see it's adding like pattern to my text. I could add a gradient, right? I could even, and the last one I'm going to show you is bevel and emboss, right? So I can make it look, let's see, don't like that one. Nope, inner bevel. There we go. Right, so I can kind of play around with all different types of effects, right? So you can not only do that to shapes, but you can also do, use layer styles on photographs and on text. So what I'd like you to do for today is, or this next assignment, is take your last type assignment, open it back up again, and just add 4 different effects to your text, and then also create a text box, and just like as if you're writing a paragraph of information. Really play around with your kerning and leading, and even some of your paragraph options, just so you can kind of get used to and aware of where those are located. All right, I hope this is helpful, and just make sure when you're done with it, you can kind of screenshot a picture of it and upload this as a second file to the type and effects assignment folder.